I slept peacefully upstairs for months while my wife and my business partner turned my living room into a cheap playground. But the way I legally stole their entire company and left them completely broke was the best sleep I've ever had. I had been with my wife for 19 years total, starting as childhood sweethearts. My best friend of 12 years, Mark, was just as permanent. He and I built a marketing company together right out of my house, splitting the ownership 50-50. Because my home was our main office, Mark was over every single week. We would spend 12 hours straight working on projects, eat dinners together, and drink until late. We laughed, made private jokes, and felt like an unbreakable trio. But the second I said goodnight and walked upstairs to sleep, the entire thing turned into a sickening reality. While I was asleep just one floor above them, they were downstairs kissing, crossing every line, and touching each other through their clothes right on my couch. The physical betrayal was only half of it. For months, behind my back, my wife was flooding his phone with text messages and graphic pictures. They would sit directly next to me on our gray sectional couch, clinking glasses of red wine and acting completely normal while carrying a digital trail of absolute disrespect. The lying was so smooth that during the absolute peak of their secret relationship, the three of us booked a $4,000 group vacation to Hawaii. I was the one who paid for the plane tickets. If I hadn't randomly stumbled onto her iPad last week, the three of us would be sitting on an airplane right now, flying across the world with this disgusting secret hiding underneath the surface. When I caught them, she flat out told me she had no intention of stopping, and she couldn't promise it wouldn't have gone all the way if I hadn't looked at her screen. The actual moment I found out felt like a heavy brick hitting my skull. I was looking for a digital business receipt for some office supplies on her tablet when a rogue notification popped up. It was a message from Mark detailing exactly what they had done on my living room rug the previous Tuesday while I was upstairs asleep. The texts that followed completely broke my brain. They weren't just hiding a mistake. They were actively laughing how oblivious I was. Mark would text her from the opposite end of my dinner table while I was serving them homemade lasagna. He would text her about her outfit while I was sitting right between them, and she would reply with exactly what she wanted him to do to her the second I went to bed. They even used our company bank account to fund their secret dates, hiding $200 bottles of wine and hotel bookings under the guise of fake business expenses. I sat on the kitchen floor for 3 hours that night, looking at my hands, feeling like my whole life was a giant joke. When I confronted them the next morning, Mark didn't even look like he cared. He just shrugged his shoulders, looked at my kitchen, and said, "Look, you're always too focused on the numbers and the bills anyway. You're just a boring guy who doesn't know how to give a woman any real excitement. She came to me because you're too simple to notice what she actually needs." My wife just stood behind him, staring at the floor in silence, letting him say every single word. That comment completely crushed me. I felt like a ghost in my own home. That same day, I packed one single bag, walked out of my own house, and went to stay with my older Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe took me in without asking a single question. He cleared out his small spare bedroom, bought a $50 mattress topper for the floor, and told me to focus on myself. I cut off all communication with both of them. I woke up at 4 a.m. every single morning, drank cheap gas station coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, and worked 14-hour days to set up a brand new independent consulting business completely separate from our old company. I ate $3 packages of instant ramen for 6 months straight and slept on Joe's floor until my back ached. Within 8 months, I stole 3 of our old company's biggest clients. Within a year, my new business was making $250,000 annually. I bought my own downtown apartment, paid off all my personal credit cards, and finally felt like a human being again. Meanwhile, without my hard work and financial backing, their joint venture completely fell apart. Mark was too lazy to actually run the day-to-day operations, and my wife had no idea how to handle the company taxes. They lost every single client within 9 months, and the bank locked their accounts. 2 nights ago, my phone rang at midnight. It was my wife calling from a blocked number. She was crying hysterically, shaking, and screaming that Mark had kicked her out of his place after they lost the house. She told me she was staying at a cheap motel down the highway. She had no money for food, and she begged me to come pick her up. She said she made a terrible mistake, that she missed our old life, and that she desperately needed me to give her some money just to survive the week. I listened to her sob into the phone for a few seconds, felt the complete coldness in my chest, and said, "You're just a boring guy who doesn't know how to give a woman any real excitement. Enjoy the motel."